Hey y'all, so this past spring I started to take interest into dry press flowers. Initially I saw some on Amazon and that is where my obsession with this idea began. After making several different crafts with them, I decided to give it a try myself and see if I can make my own dried press flowers. I absolutely love to garden and I knew that I had a little bit of a variety of flowers around my house that I could try, so I thought why not do a video on this and just share with you guys what I learned along the way. So this video will be focusing on how I got started, little tips and things that I've learned along the way, and how to use a flower press. So if you're just getting started with pressing your own flowers or are just curious about the process, I hope you enjoy this video. So I started off pressing with books. Unfortunately, I didn't record much of that process because at the time I wasn't even planning to make a video like this. But the further I went into this rabbit hole, y'all, the more I fell in love with it and just wanted to share it with y'all. And me having absolutely no knowledge on how to press flowers, I assumed I could just stick a flower in a book and it would just turn out decently, and sometimes they will work out. Sometimes they'll turn out really pretty, but most of the time they require a little bit more effort than that, like these flowers for example. And I'll also share with you this little clip of the very first time that I pressed these flowers. I'm gonna take my book and just push down. They're closed in there. Now we're back inside. I'm gonna put them under something really heavy and we'll give it about a week and we'll check on them and see how they look. Now, if you're seeing this video, then they did well, but if not, yeah, I guess we tried something else. So the pink flowers didn't do good, y'all. So I ended up just tossing those and I pressed some yellow roses, which these didn't do too well either, honestly. And I think it's mostly because they didn't have enough weight on them. They weren't flattened enough, because you'll see the parts that are flattened did do really well, but then these parts that didn't get pressed or flattened enough kind of shriveled up as they dried out. So same with the leaves. These leaves got pressed really well. This one didn't particularly. And I also did one of these, which actually did really well, especially the leaves and whatnot, but it kept this beautiful purple color, so I'm really happy with how that turned out. I also pressed some of my coral roses, but they didn't do as well either. So we're gonna try this again and see what happens. These are some of my other dried pressed flowers that I tried. So it's just a learning experience. I know I still have a lot to learn with this to get better at it. But by this point, I decided to invest in my very first flower press. So this comes with everything you need to get started. I will link this down below for you guys. To set it up, you'll just have your bottom base of your flower press. You'll put the screws into the little corners where they have the holes pre-drilled for you. And you'll lay a piece of cardboard down as your first layer, and then you'll put the paper on top of that. And we'll get more into that here in a minute. So because I had just got this, of course, I went straight out to my yard and started clipping flowers. I actually used the box that the flower press came in to put my flowers in to carry around the yard. I picked a bunch of different flowers, mostly roses because that's all I really had at the time. A little bit of greenery. I had some baby lavender because it wasn't fully grown yet. And I had to stop and record the birds for a minute. Okay, so now that we have all of our flowers cut, so for setup, you'll have your piece of cardboard, then your paper on top of that, and then you'll put your flowers on top of that paper. So I'm pressing these leaves at first. So I'm putting my leaves down and then I put a piece of paper on top of that and then put the cardboard on top of that. Then you'll repeat that process with another piece of paper. You'll lay your flowers in there and then put another piece of paper on top and then the cardboard on top. And you'll just keep doing that until you have each layer that you want of the flowers that you're going to press. So I completely stuffed this flower press, y'all, because I was so eager to do it and just get the most out of it that I could on this first go round. Once you have all of your flowers in there that you're going to press for this pressing session, just make sure you have your piece of cardboard on top there, and then you put your top wooden frame on top. And then you'll just twist on the little metal caps. At first, I just do them enough to hold all of the pieces together, and then I pick it up and put my finger underneath the bottom and twist it until it's super tight that all of the layers are bunched together. And then you can just put that in a cool, dry place and let it sit for about a week and then check on it. So this is how the first batch turned out. So the green kind of turned a little bit brown. My rose did fairly decent, but somehow my leaves moved around on me, so it kind of messed up the petals a little bit. So even though I jam-packed my flower press this go round, I think it did really well with pressing all of the flowers. They all seem to dry out well, they all seem to flatten out really well. So of course, going through that week of waiting, I had to go and order another flower press. Of course, I had flowers ready to test this out, so I got these flowers for Mother's Day from my mom. So I really wanted to save them because they're really, really pretty. I just love the yellow. So I did them all kind of different directions because I wasn't sure how to properly press these. Either I didn't know which way was the best, especially with them having so many little tiny petals. I also had these roses and I really wanted to try to press as well. I wasn't sure how to go about that. I knew I couldn't press them as they were, so I tried to fan out the petals so that they would have some room to like breathe. With this being a really big flower, I was pretty skeptical on how this would turn out. I really just wanted to test it out and see what would happen. And unfortunately, they didn't turn out well at all, y'all. Like, this was pretty much a fail. I have found that really big flowers like this are just extremely hard to press. And from what I have read, if you have really big flowers like this, then you shouldn't immediately squeeze your press down on them to the max. You should kind of leave them a little bit of breathing room and then check back on them like midway through the press and then tighten the press again, you know, and just adjust petals as you need to. But you have to allow them periods of time to be able to breathe in between the drying process so that they don't mold. So this is how it looks up close. It just, the color was completely gone. It was just so not pretty, y'all. But the yellow flowers turned out so pretty. So these weren't completely dry yet, so I had to put them back in the press for a little bit longer. But so far they were really cute. How they looked after about another week in the press. They started to get more brownish and they started to be really thin and kind of transparent on the petals, but they still were really pretty. They kind of gave me like fall vibes, so I still really loved them, even though they were kind of going for a brownish tone at this point. Now this may be more of a preference thing, but I have found when it comes to pressing roses and also the fluffier flowers, to press them on the side seem to do a lot better. And I also found that if you try to press a little rosebud where it's not bloomed yet, then it turns into like a little tulip looking flower. Another thing that fascinates me about pressing flowers is how much they change. Like sometimes the color will just completely change. Like for these flowers, they're purple now, whereas they started off as these bright pink flowers. So I saw these little dandelion looking flowers, so I clipped some of those. And I also got some of my juniper bush right here because it kind of looks like pine, so I thought those would do really well for like our Christmas crafts in the wintertime. So this time I left out the pressing process and we're just going to go straight into showing you how they turned out. My oldest son was outside hanging out with me while I was doing this process.
I'm back when only 2D was available.
So you'll hear his little commentary.
Yeah. 2D flowers.
I didn't even
my
know.
noodles. Oh, this is our lavender. Look at how cool that
Which
is.
one?
The little purple little flowers in that pot.
Oh.
Smells like lavender still. Isn't that
It's
crazy?
probably not going to happen forever and stay.
No, I think after a while it starts to like
Gonna get
diminish. Yeah. But it lasts for a little while like that, and that's pretty cool.
Ah. You can't step on bricks.
So here's a close-up of the lavender. So I get asked a lot what to do with all the dried pressed flowers. So here are a few things that I've created with my dried pressed flowers. I do have some things that aren't shown here that are on my YouTube shorts or posted as a regular video on YouTube, and also posted on my Facebook page as well. I usually post on my Facebook page more frequently, so I will link that down below for you guys if you want to go follow me over there if you don't follow me there already. So I even tested out the outdoor Mod Podge on my bird bath and used the dry pressed flowers outside on my bird bath. I did this on a Facebook Live, so if you want to check that out, that's on my Facebook page as well. As far as storage, I just keep mine in a little wooden box and also in some plastic containers. I found these little mini drawers on Amazon. They work really well for the little tiny flowers. So here are a few more things that I've made with the dried pressed flowers just to give you some more ideas. But let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I've been working on this video for the last couple of months, so I may have forgotten some things. Don't mind the bell, that is my cat. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.